Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
So I'm strolling through the park looking for a meal, and I happen to walk by, and she's making out with the Chaos Demon. And so I said, I don't have to put up with this. And she said, fine. So I said, fine, do whatever you like. I mean, I thought we were gonna make up,
Well, she sounds very unreasonable.
She is. She's out of her mind. That's what I miss most about her.
Well, Spike, sometimes even when two people seem right for each other, their lives just take different paths. Like when Buffy's father and I...
No, this is different. Our love was eternal, literally. You got any of those little marshmallows?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our reactions, our reviews. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 8, titled Lover's Walk. Directed by David Semel and written by Dan Weber. The original air date was November 24th, 1998, to an audience of 6 million people. And this is a fun one. I enjoyed this one. It was pretty fun.
This is a good episode. It's got some reveals. It's got some great lines. It's got a lot of fun action.
Yeah,
it's got like really
drama.
Great moments in it. Some fake outs. This is a good one.
There was one fake out that I rolled my eyes at so fucking hard.
I thought it was done interestingly well, and I think it might have worked better if we didn't have the knowledge of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like if you were watching week to week, it would have got you.
Yeah. I mean, this show.
At one point, I was like, really? Are they going to do it? It got me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking like real hard at that show. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then it like faked me out and I was so pissed. I was like, that's such bullshit.
We'll
get into it later.
I thought it was just well done and it worked.
It was funny. We'll talk about it later.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
but before we get into this, I want to shout out our fan Pete in Edinburgh, who left us a review on Apple Podcasts, as we had directed people to do if they had listened to a certain previous episode. And I want to thank you for, leaving that great review and, letting us know that you did do that.
That's how you know that Pete's a real one. He was paying attention.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if anyone did come to the shows that I did. And I know the one guy came, I think his name was Ed. He came to a show that I did at the Comedy Chateau. So thank you for coming to that. I don't know if anyone came to the shows that I did in San Diego, but those were a blast. And I got a couple shows coming up. I got a show Thursday. Oh, fuck. What day is it? The 14th, Thursday 14th at the Federal in North Hollywood. You can come to that show. And July 17th at the Comedy Chateau at 7:30. I got those shows coming up. I also host a burlesque show in LA at a place called El Cid. And that show happens, it'll be the next day after this comes out, July 13th. It's a comedy and burlesque show. It's a good time. And that's at El Cid on Wednesday, July 13th at 8 p.m. I got a whole bunch of dates. Shit's picking up for old Joey boy.
Yeah, I didn't know that was at El Cid. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a dope show, man.
I got a plug this week.
Oh shit, Vance got a plug.
Something I didn't work on, I didn't create it. I didn't make it. I had no involvement. But last night I finally watched RRR on Netflix. And I have to say, I highly, highly recommend it.
Okay.
It is like the best of Fast and the Furious, an Indian version of Fast and the Furious. It's
like Bollywood
amazing.
Fast and the Furious?
Yeah, it's amazing. Incredible.
That sounds awesome.
It's 3 hours long, but don't let that put you off because there's a built-in like intermission at an hour and a half, and you will be sucked in. It is so funny, so over the top. I enjoyed it start to finish. It's ridiculous.
All right.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. You got to check it out. RRR.
Also, I feel like we never do this. I feel like I never do this, at least. If you want to follow like me personally on Instagram, it's just at Joe Welke. That's where I put all my show dates. I have a bunch of like stand-up clips and stuff from life and stuff about this podcast. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on Twitter at Is That Vance.
There you go. All
there
right.
you go. Yep.
Enough of the plugs. Let's get into the goddamn episode, what the people really want. All right. Let's do it. So the episode opens up with Willow talking to Xander about how upset she was that she didn't get an exact perfect score on the SAT, basically.
Yeah, they say she got a 740 in her verbal. 800
talk
would
about
be
the
perfect.
math.
Yeah, they don't talk about the math. So I guess she got a 800 in that or whatever.
But she's like, am I just the village idiot? 740 on verbal? I'm such a moron. And Xander's like, you know that your 740 on your verbal is close to my verbal and math combined? She's like, well, whatever.
It's one of those things where you know that they're all going to end up at the same college, even though their grades are wildly different.
Absolutely. Absolutely they are.
Yeah.
And then so Xander starts comforting her and being like, oh, it's not that bad. You're going to be fine. You're still a genius. And then Cordelia and Oz show up behind them. And Cordelia did super well on the SATs as she said she was going to. She's like, I'm a really good test taker. And Xander's like, man, I'm going to stop being so like cool because I'm dating the hot girl. And now you're just going to be the hot and smart girl. Like, I can't handle this. She's like, don't worry, Xander.
She's like, I'm good at covering up my nerdiness.
Yeah.
I've been doing it forever.
And then everybody suggests, I forget who brings it up. Is it Willow that brings it up, or that they want to do a double date?
I think Willow does bring it up.
Yeah. And then,
which I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Why would they do that? Like, they're sneaking around trying to keep it a secret that they're cheating on each other in this love square.
Because Cordelia doesn't want to do it.
No, she absolutely does not.
Xander shouldn't want to do it.
Nope.
Maybe Xander brought it up.
Yeah, Xander, I think, is very cavalier about it. He
Yeah.
thinks that everything's going to be fine and it's not going to be an issue. So yeah, I think it is like, hey, we should go on a double date. And everyone's kind of like, I don't know about that. But then Buffy shows up and she's looking all mournful and everyone's like, oh God, you got your SAT scores back? And Buffy's like, yeah, I don't know what to think about it. And she hands over the papers to everyone else and they look at it and they're like, oh my God, Buffy, you got a 1430 on the SAT? That's incredible. We all thought that you were just a big dumb dipshit.
Yeah, I don't know.
How did that happen?
One, no way. There's no way she had enough time to even prepare fighting demons every night.
Yeah, like how well did Giles tutor her while he's sitting on a gravestone and she's fighting vampires?
Yeah. And also, yeah, I don't know. Buffy's one of those people where it's like, no matter what, she's going to find a way to mope about it.
Yeah, I mean, she just got, either she is secretly smart or she's incredibly great at guessing.
Yeah.
Like Giles was giving her shit that one episode, like, you can't just guess B because it hasn't been B for a while. Maybe she could.
Maybe she guessed perfectly, like she had some premonition, guessed perfectly. And then only way she lost points was on like the written stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, there wasn't a written portion
Was
back
there a written?
then.
Was there a written portion?
There was a written portion when I took it, and that was like 10 years after this. So I think this was all just multiple choice.
No, I think the written was before that too. You think the written came in after?
When the SAT was out of 2,400? Well, they're talking about out of 1,600.
Yeah, 1,600. Yeah.
Mine version was out of 2,400.
I did a 1,600 version.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
They only did the written portion for like 5 years, and they're like, this was a mistake. Anyway, and Buffy's
none of this matters. This is so tough. Let's move on.
Well, Buffy's moping about it. She's moping about like, I did so well, and now everyone's gonna want me to be successful, and like I don't know how to feel about how smart I am. And everyone's like,
you still have
dude,
Fs. You still have failing every grade.
I know.
Like, don't you still have to like get good grades too, or does the SAT trump everything?
Well, I did the opposite because I had good grades, but I didn't do very well on the SAT. But yeah, I think that the SAT is just an anomaly. I think now also colleges take it with a grain of salt even more so because they're like, wow, yeah, I mean, this is kind of an anomaly as well. But Buffy's like, I don't know. Everyone's going to want me to like go to college and all this stuff. And Cordelia says like, yeah, you have good enough grades to leave and never come back.
Yeah. Like,
and Buffy's like, wow, tell me how you, yeah, right? But Buffy's like, wow, tell me how you really feel.
Well, I don't know why Buffy would think after going to Los Angeles and having to go into hell to fight her way out, that she would think going to another city would solve the vampire problem. Yeah. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. They follow her. Like, I bet you she even killed a bunch of vampires when she was in Los Angeles working at that diner.
Yeah, like Faith tells stories about killing people. Like Kendra had stories. Like vampires exist. Spike's all over the world. Yeah.
But yeah, after Cordelia is like, yeah, you can leave and never come back. And Buffy's like, well, I don't know. I feel like I might want to come back. And then I forget who says it, but
Cordelia says, she's like, who would ever want to come back to Sunnydale?
Smash cut to the welcome to Sunnydale side, and Spike's car just drives through it like very much since the first appearance of Spike. Drives through it in that little like old timey like haunted looking car. Yeah. And Spike opens the door and falls out of it, and he is wasted.
He is liquored up.
He is hammered. Falls out of the car, and he's walking around, and finds himself in an abandoned warehouse. And
I think was that their old spot?
Yeah, because he sees like all those old creepy dolls that Drusilla was like collecting, and he's looking at one. He's like, "Why would you leave me? Why would you leave me?"
He gets real toxic real quick. Like, you worthless bitch, and he smashes the doll. And,
he smashes the like bottle that he's drinking. He like throws it up against the thing. He takes the doll, throws it on the ground, gets a shovel, and starts slamming. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
And I will say the face turn effect here is really good. Like they stepped up the game. They stepped up the game where it's like, it's not like, oh, the whole backdrop changes out and it's like, oh, he's obviously on the green screen standing still. Like, it's like in one shot he's looking and he's like, oh, I get angry and boom.
Yeah, it's pretty really seamless. Cool. Yeah, it's seamless this whole episode because he does the face change quite a bit. I feel like they were like, we can do this now, and we're gonna really go for it.
Should we save it for Angel when he comes back? No. We'll save it for Spike.
Yeah, for Spike.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm so happy that Spike is back, at least for this. Like, Spike is so fun.
Yeah, he's entertaining as hell.
Yeah. So he smashes a doll, and then that's that scene. And we cut back to Xander talking to Cordelia. And Xander's at her locker, and he's like, hey, so for this double date, seems like everybody wants to go bowling. You want to go bowling? Cordelia's like, no, I don't want to even go on this double date. And he's like, come on, it'll be fun. We're all going to go bowling. Everybody's in. How about that? She's like, okay, fine. And then we see the inside of Cordelia's locker, and she's got a bunch of pictures of Xander and with Xander. And he's like, you got pictures of me in your locker? And she's like, yeah, I mean, I look cute in them. That's why I wanted to have them in there. And it's just like, oh, man, you're going to make me feel bad for Cordelia?
She loves Xander. That's the one thing that she has that hasn't wavered.
Yeah, and her excuse is a bunch of bullshit because she does have some solo shots of Xander in there, too.
I mean, remember the episode when she was wearing the chain that he gave her?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's been there. Like,
and she said that she'd stay with him even if he was a fish monster.
Yeah, she turned down her friends. Like, she's Xander's doing her dirty.
Yeah. But Xander's pretty stoked about that. He's like, oh, man, you got pictures of me? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, and then Cordelia's finally like, all right, fine. Maybe we will go bowling. And Oz and Willow show up and they're like, everybody down for bowling? And they're like, yeah, we're going bowling. This is great. So then Xander and Cordelia fuck off.
I'm going to say this. This is the weirdest, like, little nitpick. I feel like Willow's locker is right next to Cordelia's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that would ever happen.
Do we know what Cordelia's last name is?
Chase, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how that would happen. Yeah. My school was alphabetical.
Yeah. Most are. It's just like, it's so convenient that her locker would be right next to hers. But yeah, I understand for blocking and logistics.
Yeah. So Willow and Oz show up. Cordelia and Xander leave, and Oz is like, hey, guess what? I got you a little something. And Willow's like, what'd you get me? And he gives her this, like, it's like wrapped up in like used tissue paper.
Yeah.
It's so shitty. And she opens it up, and it's a little witch Pez dispenser, which is a very Oz and kind of cute thing to do. And she's like, oh my God, it's a little witch. We need to get a little werewolf one so she can have a boyfriend.
Yeah, and for the younger listeners, a Pez dispenser. Seriously, like, I don't even know, like, you would know what a Pez dispenser is if you were 20. Like,
you think so?
It's not a common. It was bigger. It was really big back in the 90s.
Pez dispensers were like the Funko Pops of the 90s.
It's like mediocre candy that comes out of a dispenser that has some, like, you know, Spider-Man or Gap. Like, it would be just some, like,
a little character's head.
Yeah.
Lift the head up and a little chalky, awful candy comes out of it. Like a Smarties, but way worse.
Yeah. I mean, Pez used to be Mints or something way back before they decided to, like, sell the candy by selling plastic toys with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were cool, fun little things, I guess.
Yeah, I have a Pez. I have a Darth Vader one, I think.
Nerd.
But anyway. Yeah. Well, okay. All right. But so yeah, she's jazzed about it. She's like, I need to get a werewolf one so she can have a little boyfriend. And he's like, I don't think they really have a werewolf one. The best you could get is maybe like a weird looking dog. And she's like, well, I feel bad now because I don't have anything to give you. And then Oz very creepily is like, you got one thing you can give me. And then he walks away. I was like, whoa, dude.
I wrote this down and highlighted it. She's like, I got nothing to give you. He touches her shoulder and says, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That had, I know they're dating, but it had rapey vibes.
Yeah, dude. It was like, so creepy.
Like, yeah, I don't know what that yeah, you do could be referring to.
I'm going to guess her virginity. That's what I'm guessing it was.
If it wasn't that, is it her love, her heart? Like, what? Her time? Like, what could it possibly be other than the weird creepiness of it?
See, I would have thought maybe her love or her heart, but the way that he said it was so creepy that I was like, oh, he means virginity. He wants to bang.
Yeah. and I don't know if a witch Pez gets you that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. We're doing the smoochies, but yeah. It's like, this is going to send me over the top, maybe.
This is going to seal the deal.
So then Buffy is hanging out with Giles, and Giles is looking at Buffy's SAT scores, and he's like, oh my God, this is remarkable. You're really smart, dude. This could like really change things. And Giles is going on a camping trip, it seems like. He's packing. He's got a little sleeping bag and stuff.
Yeah, they said retreat, and then I was like, oh, is he finally invited to a watcher retreat? But it didn't make it seem that way.
No.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was just going out camping with like a couple of buddies or something. It's like, you have friends?
It reminds me of like old sitcoms when like an actor would go to rehab or something and they would just like write him out for the episode. You know? They were like, we just need you for one shot and you can go to rehab this week.
And so they're talking, and this is a Joe's Fashion Corner moment here. Buffy pulls out this purse that's this horrible fuzzy pink and boxy. It is disgusting. I forget what she had in it, or what she was taking out of it. But I hated everything about this purse, dude. It was so disgusting.
You're so catty.
I was at a PacSun recently. Not to brag. I was at a PacSun outlet. Not to brag. But I saw purses very similar to this purse. After, like, I'd watched the episode and then I went to the outlet. And I was like, oh my God, I hope that these purses are not coming back because it is hideous.
It's about the time that they would come back.
It does make sense. Like a lot of the fashion from Buffy is now like making a comeback, but I have a little fashion corner later that I noticed for my own fashion corner.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right. But she's talking to Giles about how good her SAT scores are. And she's like, yeah, my mom saw them and her head, she was so excited. Her head spun around and exploded. And Giles was like, I've been on the Hellmouth for far too long at this point. You are being metaphorical, right?
I really love that. I love that,
great.
Actually, yeah.
And Buffy's like, yeah, no, it was a metaphor. And basically Buffy's like, yeah, and then my mom, she's getting all these ideas. Like she wants me to go to college and all this stuff. What do you think I should do, Giles? Giles is like, I mean, honestly, you should go to college. I mean, with scores this good, you're pretty smart, dude. And I wouldn't want to waste your talents around here just being a slayer. And plus we got Faith now. So Faith could stay here and do the slaying and you can go off and you always, talk about how you want to be a normal kid. And Buffy's like, I can't believe you fucking said that to me.
It's one of those things where I know the show is watched by kids and they need to like be pro school.
Mm-hmm.
But Buffy has no reason to go to college.
No.
When the world can end in any day and it's up to you to save it, I don't think her learning, I don't know, like what she learns in school that just changes.
What is Buffy gonna major in?
I don't know. Like it would have to be something where you can work the job and just take random hours.
She's gonna be a communication major like me.
Major in communications.
Just like a real dumb fucking. Or she's gonna be psychology like every woman.
Whoa. What?
Bro, have you taken a psychology class in college? It was all women.
There seems like there's a lot of male psychologists. So I don't know. I figured they're going there too.
Nah. Dude. At University of Maryland, it was all ladies. And I was like, all right, I'm going to become a psychology major. Start macking on some. Vance is shaking his head at me so hard. Anyway. So then they get into a conversation about Angel. And Giles is like, are you planning on seeing Angel? And Buffy's like, yes, I am. But I just want you to know we're just friends. There's going to be no smoochies. We're just friends. And Giles is like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were just caught making out last week. So I don't know.
Yeah. So then we have a little scene of Willow walking around the quad and Xander catches up with her and she's really worried about this double date all of a sudden. She's like, this is a really bad idea. Every time I see you, I want to touch you and kiss you. And every time you see me, you want to kiss me and touch me. I mean, Cordelia and Oz are going to find out. They're going to figure it out. And Xander does like how would they know? How would they know? How would they ever know?
Yeah, he's really nonchalant about this, even when he's like playing with her hair while they're talking.
Yeah.
Out in the quad. I'm like, you guys are still into each other. It's not like, oh, we made out, we're not into it. It's like, if you guys are alone together, you will make out. Stuff will happen. Like, you guys are not in a position to be like, okay, we're just back to being friends.
Yeah. I mean, even in this scene they're talking about, he's playing with her hair and he's like, can I kiss you? Yeah. And Willow's like, okay, wait, hold on a second. No.
Yeah.
We shouldn't. We can't. And then it starts to kind of dawn on Xander like, oh, wait, this is not a good idea.
He is slow. He is a 740 on his SATs.
So then we have Buffy's mom talking to Buffy about like all the colleges that she could go to. And her mom is like, you could go to Carnegie Mellon. They have a great whatever program. Carnegie Mellon's known for like their theater program, I feel like, and their arts programs. And that's in Pittsburgh. And then she's like, you could also go to Brown, which is in Rhode Island, is Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone keeps saying the same line to Buffy, which I thought was going to like come back at a certain point, but it never does. But everyone's like, you need to start thinking about your future. And it's the exact same line. Mm-hmm. You need to start thinking about your future.
She was like, I thought I was going to die yesterday.
Like, yeah, it's like, dude, I need to think about like protecting my mom and my vampire dead boyfriend that came back from the dead.
I do love the mom's like, why would you stay here in Sunnydale and fight vampires? I'll just stay here and you can come back and visit me. Yeah. And I'll tell you how things are going. I would love to live in Sunnydale without a slayer stopping everything.
Well, her mom does bring up, like, I mean, you got Faith here. She's slaying. And also, you always are bitching about how you want to be a normal kid. This is your escape.
That is true. She will find a way to bitch about anything. She's like, oh, I get to leave. No, I can't leave. Oh, yeah. I have to be. Like, I'm just thinking of the Slayer Fest one where she's like, I don't know what my life will be. I just want to be prom queen and just say I was here. And like, now you can go to college and say that. And she's like, no, because Angel.
No, Mom, I have responsibilities. Okay, it's not that easy. And plus, I have things that I like doing here. I got, the bronze, that one Starbucks that we have.
But then is this the scene that ends with like, but what's keeping you here? Yeah. And then we cut to
Angel reading alone by the fire.
What is he reading? I didn't even catch it.
I didn't catch it either. I was just like, ugh. Yeah. Moody Angel.
Yeah, right. He's just reading by the fire, like disinterested in what he's reading. Like, ugh.
I'm surprised he wasn't shirtless in this too, like doing Tai Chi while reading.
Yeah, he's not. He's fully clothed this episode.
Fully clothed, slams the book closed, and he's like, ugh, sick of reading, sick of being holed up in this mansion.
He can go out. Like everyone that knows that he's like everyone he needs to keep a secret from knows he's around.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid of other vampires.
And it's not like anyone else knew who he was anyway.
Yeah.
Like he knew 5 people in this city and they all know he's back.
Yeah, I would just be doing night strolls, man, as a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. But from the window we see that Spike is looking at Angel. He's stalking him. He's drinking. He's wasted. He's got a big old bottle of Jack. He's sitting there and he's like, man, fuck this guy. Like Angel just like walks away and then Spike loudly is like, I hate you.
Yeah. I was like, is he not going to hear? I really thought he was going to hear him or like.
I thought he was too.
Yeah.
But he's just like, this fucking guy, you took Drew from me. You brainwashed her. And she left me and I hate you and you suck. And he's stumbling around. He falls face first into some kind of like fountain that doesn't have any water, but he's like just trips into some shit. And he passes out. And then it's the morning now. Like the night goes through in the morning, the sun's rising. And I loved this because you know me, I'm always talking about this.
You're always talking about it.
But it's morning now. Spike is laying down and the sun touches his hand and it starts to just burst into flames. Mm-hmm. And he wakes up and he's like, oh God, oh gee, oh fuck. Starts running around.
It's a really good effect too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's running around. He finds some kind of other fountain that actually does have water. He's putting his hand out. He's like, oh, fuck. And I was like, Angel's gonna hear this.
Yeah, this guy's screaming. It's not like these vampires sleep in a crypt, you know?
Not only does he scream while he's there, he screams all the way downstairs till he gets to his car and jumps in the car still screaming. His hand is like is full of burn marks and boils and shit. Mm-hmm. Jumps into his car, finds another liquor bottle in there and just immediately starts chugging it. And he's like, oh, fuck this.
He's like pours it on his hand to like disinfect the burn too, which is like, it's really interesting that vampires can get this drunk because I figured you would see a lot more drunk vampires.
I figured that vampires couldn't get drunk.
Well, we know they can get high because Spike said he got high biting like hippies.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, he's wasted.
Yeah, but they don't breathe. They don't have to breathe, but I guess they have blood coursing through them. Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, I guess they have a heart. You have to stab their heart, so I guess the heart still works.
The logistics of this are so confusing, and I'm sure we're going to get a lecture about it on Discord.
Actually, vampire anatomy.
Sign up for our Discord to just dunk all over us and how dumb we are.
Yeah. And let Joe know if you are a male psychologist.
Yeah, let me know. So Spike then goes to like a curse store. There's like a witchcraft spell store, and he is there, and he shows up in the back, and he's talking to the lady that runs it or is working there, and he's like, I need to get a curse. I need a bloody love curse. And he's wasted, and she's like, I don't know if I should give this to you, buddy. You seem a little out of sorts. And as she's talking to him, Willow shows up. Because Willow wants to do a curse. Oh, no. Spike doesn't want it. He wants to do I want the worst curse possible. I want boils. I want limbs to fall off. I want people to burst into flames. And the lady's like, I don't know about if I should be selling this to you. But then Willow shows up. And Willow's the one that wants the anti-love curse. And she's asking for all these ingredients. And the store owner's like, oh, are you trying to do a love curse? And Willow's like, actually an anti-love curse. I'm trying to get this guy off my back. Mm-hmm. And Spike pops his head out from behind the bookshelf, and he sees Willow, and he's like, I remember you.
Yeah.
But Willow doesn't see him.
It's amazing that Sunnydale has a store that just casually sells witchcraft material.
Not only does Sunnydale have one store that does this, Sunnydale has at least 2 stores that does this.
I don't know who's running the other one that had the Orb of Thessalos, but for a place that had this many graveyards and this many churches, there's also a lot of witchcraft. For a 1 Starbucks town, you don't get 2 witchcraft stores.
They only got 1 Starbucks, but they got 2 witchcraft stores.
And Willow just walks in as a teenager, casually, oh, I'm going to try some witchcraft. And the lady's like, okay.
Yeah.
What is this?
Do you think that the person at the witchcraft store thinks that witchcraft is a bunch of bullshit and it's just yeah, sure, here's a bunch of books about witchcraft? Because, there are books.
She can't because she gives Willow advice, and Willow has been testing stuff out. So Willow knows that it works. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come back.
There are witchcraft books at, Barnes & Noble and shit. But this place has not only witchcraft books, but every ingredient that you need to cast the spells. Yeah. Which Barnes & Noble's not really holding.
That's why they're failing.
Yeah. That's what Amazon's taking over.
I get all my witchcraft materials from Amazon. 2-day shipping. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Prime Day coming up. Wait, today is Prime Day. One of the Prime Days, whatever.
Whatever they say to make you buy more stuff you don't need.
Yeah, they're selling diapers, adult diapers. Prime Day sucks. Anyway. So Willow gets the stuff that she needs. It's cost $14.50, very cheap for witchcraft materials. Gets the stuff, walks out, and then the lady returns to Spike, and she's like, all right, let me see what I can do for you. He grabs her, he's all vampire faced, and he's like, you know what, on second thought, forget the spell, and then just feeds on her. And I was like, hell yeah, Spike.
I thought he was just going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because we keep losing witchcraft shop owners, And we need to keep these stores in play.
Yeah. Otherwise, where's Willow going to get her witchcraft stuff? We're going to go to Ralph's? Do they think they have Eye of Rat at Ralph's?
She just walks in so casually. It's just middle of the day, I need to get some witchcraft materials.
Yeah. Well, also, Spike walks in the middle. I know that they can cover themselves up with a hoodie.
He walked in through the back, too. Yeah. So, whatever.
But also, by the way, if you don't know, Ralph's is a grocery store on the West. What is he going to get her Eye of Rat from Kroger? What are you going to get it from Weiss? Let me just run through all of these. Real quick.
We have international listeners too, so keep going.
Harris Teeter is that international? Whole Foods, any hoozles. So Spike feeds on that lady, and then we have a really weird scene with the mayor. And the mayor's playing a little golf game in his office. And he's like, man, he misses the hole in one or whatever, and he's like, I would sell my soul for a good short game. Too bad I already did that. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to his like underling guy.
Yeah.
And the underling guy is like, hey, so we got a little bit of a problem. And the mayor's like, yeah, here we have a Spike problem. Here's Spike's back. That guy, he's really unpredictable, and we really need to take care of this guy. The police covered up a bunch of the stuff for the last little bit that he was here, but he's really unpredictable. We can't have Spike in town. So you got to go take care of it with Mr. Trick. And I was like, oh, Mr. Trick versus Spike? This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Never happens in this episode, at least.
Well, he was like, let's have Mr. Trick send some cronies. And that was basically it. And I was like, yeah, there's just going to be cronies. We're not going to get a Mr. Trick Spike face off in episode 8 of the season.
Yeah. I can't wait till that actually does happen, though, because I like Mr. Trick and I like Spike.
I think they would work together more than fight.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that scene. That's the last we see of the mayor for this episode. So then Buffy is hanging out with Angel, and she's talking to him about her great SAT scores and how everybody wants her to go to college. And Angel's like, did you tell your mom that I'm alive? And Buffy's like, no. And Angel's like, how could you?
Yeah, I know that this is my least favorite Angel.
Yeah.
The mopey, emo Angel.
I mean, even mysterious first season Angel is better than this. Like, This Angel sucks.
Yeah, he's like, no, I can't. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's like, you just came through hell, man.
Right? But Buffy's like, yeah, I don't know if I should go to college. I mean, I have reasons to stay. And Angel's like, oh yeah, like what? And then she's like, you know, I have friends here and my family's here. And then Angel's like, oh yeah, right. Your friends and your family. And then Buffy's like, well, what do you think I should do, Angel? And he's like, well, I think you need to think about your future. I think you should leave. Since you got, it's just your friends and your family here. There's nothing really keeping you here. And then Buffy's like, oh, maybe I should leave then. Maybe I should. It's like this whole flip-flopping of like, they're just not communicating with each other, that they're still in love.
It's like she's mad that he didn't like fight for her to stay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, but yeah, I understand what they're going for, but man.
Yeah.
The pragmatic mindset. I'm just like, this is not going to work. Also, you can't leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
you can't leave the Hellmouth. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole point?
You're going to go to Sunnydale U.
Yeah.
Or U of Sunnydale. Or Sunnydale State or whatever. It's Cal State, Sunnydale. And you're going to stay there. This is where all the action is.
Yeah.
But she's sad that Angel is not going to fight for her to stay. And she's like, maybe I will leave.
Yeah, maybe Angel could go to college with you and you don't have to worry about your friends being like, why are you hanging out with Angel?
Boom. So the next scene, we got Willow working on her spell in the science lab and her anti-love spell to get Xander off her back. And Xander shows up. He's like, hey, what's up, Will? Are we going to be doing some smoochies in here? What do you need me for? And she's like, I'm just doing some science experiments. And he's like, oh, this smells weird. It smells weird in here. What kind of science experiment is this? Is it the sexy kind?
Doesn't that seem like a booty call?
Yeah, right?
Like, hey, meet me at this place before we go somewhere.
Well, later on in this episode, they've designated the science lab like the place that everyone's going to meet up before they go bowling. And I was like, what? How do you get into the school?
Yeah, you meet up at the place. In the 90s, pre-cell phones, you say I'm going to the movies, you meet up at the movie theater. Yeah. That's about it. Like, there was no in-between step.
Yeah. Why would you meet up at the science lab?
It's Sunnydale. It's not like parking's an issue.
Yeah. But so Willow's getting all this stuff together and Xander's trying to flirt with her and she's like, stop it. All right. I just need you to I need like a piece of your hair or some shit. I forget what it was. But he's Xander starts looking at all the ingredients. He's like, hey, wait a minute. This is a love spell. Are you trying to put a love spell on me? And Willow's like, actually, it's an anti-love spell. I'm trying to, get you to not fall in love. Because you said that you wish that all these feelings weren't happening, and this is a way we can make it happen. And Xander's like, I don't know if you recall, but the last time I did a love spell, it did not end up so good. Okay? Love spells and me don't really go well together. And do you think that maybe this is a little bit of an overreaction? Just because we have feelings for each other doesn't mean that we need to just go straight to witchcraft.
Yeah, it's one of those things where at least the show remembered the show it is.
Yeah.
But like, Willow, did you not remember that you had an axe and you were going to kill Xander?
Yeah. You had an army of women.
And now she's like, oh, casually. Oh, I just need to make a love spell, an anti-love spell. It should work out fine. I'm like, do you not remember at all?
Yeah, you were working with Drusilla at that point to kill Xander.
Yeah, like love spell should be like, oh, we never do those.
Yeah, Giles freaked the fuck out whenever that love spell was happening. He's like, that's awful shit.
Yeah. Even the lady when she walked in, she was like, oh, you don't want to use that thing. Yeah. That'll make it worse. I'm like, Willow, do you not remember? I thought you were a genius.
Well, it's also like, I love that their logic is it's easier to cast an insane spell than to just break up with our significant others. Yeah. It's craziness.
I think it'll be harder for Xander to do it now. And Willow just doesn't have it in her to break up with Oz. They both do. They both have the locker do those things that make it hard to break up with them.
Exactly.
I think Pez's are easier to break up with than a locker full of pictures and a woman that's loved you forever.
Yeah.
But Oz did, not graduate to be with Willow. So that's a big one.
So Xander's getting upset. Willow's getting upset. They're like, we gotta do this. Xander starts to back away from Willow, and then Spike shows up, grabs Xander, and he's like, sorry, love, I'm gonna be taking him for a bit or something. And then Xander starts to try and fight Spike. Spike knocks Xander out. Willow starts to try and fight Spike. Spike punches her and knocks her out, and he starts dragging them both out.
Well, no, she tries to hit him with, I don't know what she tried to hit him with, but he knocks Xander off of him. Xander does a kick off the wall, pushback. He's putting up a little bit of a fight. I mean,
he is, yeah.
If Spike wanted to kill him, he'd just bite his neck or break his neck or whatever. But he pushes him. He knocks Xander down. Xander gets up when Spike is holding Willow's arms, holding whatever, and then he grabs whatever she's holding, and then it looks like a giant typewriter, and he just slams it across Xander's head, and he is fucking out. Everybody's doing Giles impressions this episode.
But Spike is all wasted, and he's like, he grabs Willow's head, and he's like, I need you to do this spell for me. And she's like, okay, what do you want? He's like, I want you to make Drew love me again. I want you to make her love me again. And if you can't do it, I will fucking kill you. And Willow's like, okay. Okay. And he takes her to the abandoned warehouse, and he's talking to her about it. And he's like, I just want to make her love me again. We were the best together. And we got all fucked up with Angel, and Angel fucked with her head. And I miss her so much. And they start crying, and he's laying on Willow's shoulder, and Willow's patting his head. It was such a great scene. And he's like, I just want fucking you to do this for me. I want her back so bad. And Willow's like, okay, I mean, I can try, but I'm not really good at this yet. I'm not a real witch. No promises. And he grabs her head, and he's like, turns vampire faced. He's like, you better fucking do it right, or I'm gonna kill you.
Well, he's leaning on her, and he's like, I haven't been with a woman in a long time, or haven't had a woman in a long time, except for the shopkeep earlier.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, didn't he just have the shopkeep?
He says the shopkeep. And Willow's eyes don't get bigger about the shopkeep at all. Not oh, my witchcraft friend is dead. She's just like, okay. But there's some great lines in this scene where Spike is talking about how they went to Brazil, And he would give Drew a bunch of beautiful dresses with beautiful girls in them.
Yep.
Which is a great line.
He said he was like, I caught her. She said that I went soft after making a deal with Buffy. And she was like, oh, you're not a real man. And he's like, I caught her making out with a chaos demon. Have you ever seen a chaos demon? They're disgusting.
Like, just some great stuff in there. And he is unhinged to a point where I don't understand why he's the way he is, you know?
Mm-hmm. I also have to say that Willow's acting in this scene is terrible. Like when he's grabbing her head and she's like, please don't kill me. Please don't. No. I was like, this is rough, Alyson Hannigan.
There's something I wanted to bring up about Alyson Hannigan's acting for a while.
Okay.
I like her acting, but she has like this, you know how like Christopher Walken has a pattern of speech and certain actors have patterns of speech? She has this thing where she takes like deep inhales.
Yes.
At random parts. Like she does it in How I Met Your Mother and
I just wanted to figure out how we could do this.
Yeah, it's like it's like at a weird moment. It's not like at the end of sentences. It's like in between them. And she's always done that.
She does that. And then she ends on like a down note. It'll be like, I just wanted to make sure that Xander was okay. And then we went outside and he wasn't there. Like that's her cadence.
Yeah. Well, I think the down note stuff is what gives her like the sympathetic.
Yeah.
Like where you've always feel like kind of bad for her. Because it's like she trails off like, oh, what I just said is dumb or I shouldn't have said that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But like Spike is just I don't know if Spike is such a bad person. Like he's entertaining, but he's irredeemable. Like he's not a redeemable person. And knowing the little bit that I know of this show, I'm really not sure how that happens.
Yeah.
Because everything in this episode is like, this is a terrible man.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Spike somehow becomes a romantic interest.
Yes.
How?
How? Right?
Like even more so than Angel.
Yeah.
Like we know that Angel as Angelus was like a terrorizing, crazy vampire in the past. And then he got a soul or got a soul or whatever and felt bad and he became kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
And that was our introduction to Angel. But our introduction to Spike was he's a bad guy and he's been nothing but a bad guy and he's not sorry about it.
Yeah.
Does he get a gypsy curse, you think?
Even in this, though, he's like, you're like, oh, I feel bad for him because he's like really hurt because his girl broke up with him. But he's also awful.
Yeah.
Like, he's also like not like, oh, she should be with him. You know what I mean? Like, it's problematic.
Like, I feel bad for him. Oh, he just confessed to giving little girls to Drusilla to eat and kill and steal their dresses. Wait a minute. Why do I feel bad for this?
I don't think he was stealing their dresses. I mean, I'm sure she took the dresses. No, she would never take dresses from girls in Brazil because she has her own style. I think he was just giving her like girls.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of Victorian era dresses in Brazil unless she completely changed her style. Which, I mean, she's making out with chaos demons. I mean,
those two stand out. Well, Brazil, I guess, has some, boys from Brazil ness to it. But yeah, those two would stand out, really.
Absolutely, they would.
They made it all the way to Brazil, too, which is
right
crazy.
In a car. How did they make it there?
They just drove all the way down. That car's got some miles on it.
I know. So he's after Willow's like, you can't kill me. Don't eat me. Please don't kill me. Because then if you kill me, who's going to do the love spell for you? And then he turns back to normal. And he's like, all right, yeah, you're right. All right, well, do the love spell. And she's like, well, again, like I said, I can try. I'll do my best. But this isn't really my forte. And then Spike's like, well, you know what? You can try. And if it doesn't work the first time, I'll kill Xander. And then you'll get it right the second time. She's like, fuck.
Yeah. It's a real threat, man. He's a real threat.
And then she's like, well, I can't do it right now because I left all the books and the ingredients. I don't have any of the stuff. And Spike's like, well, where is it? She's like, it's somewhere else. And then we cut scenes.
We don't just cut scenes.
No,
we cut to Buffy jumping rope.
Pissed off.
And it's kind of in a mid shot where it's like...
It's focused on her boobs.
It's focused on her boobs. It's definitely...
This is like straight out of the Man Show.
Yeah. I was like, this is a weird transition from Willow saying, this is where it is.
Well, it's like, and also she's wearing a low-cut top, and there's cleavage, and it's like sweaty and oily looking. It's like, what are you trying to convey here?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I got to get something, and it's like Buffy's boobs. Like what? Like, yeah. I don't know. So Oz and Cordelia show up to the science lab, or they show up to the library, and they're like, Buffy, something's wrong. Xander and Willow are missing. We were all supposed to meet up at the science lab before we went bowling on a double date. And we just went to the science lab and there's shit all strewn about and everything's broken. And then they go into the science lab and they're like, they're investigating. And wait, so she's been in the school the whole time this happened?
I guess. Just jumping rope.
Like, where's the science lab in relation to the library? Stop meeting up at the school. Bad things happen there.
I know, dude. Like, so many people have died in the school.
I mean, you can't go anywhere in this town without people dying. But, the bowling alley, we haven't seen anyone die there yet.
Yeah, we haven't even seen it. I would have loved to have seen it. I love bowling. But anyway, so they go into the science lab and Buffy's like, I don't know what could have happened. And Cordelia's like, well, fucking figure it out. I can't think about my little smoopy Xander being hurt.
It's like overcompensating, Cordelia. Overcompensating. We get it.
Yeah. And then so Buffy's mom calls her.
Yeah, her mom called her. Yeah, when she goes back to the library.
Yeah, her mom called the library hotline.
Yeah. Yeah, because she goes back to the library to, I don't know, maybe change out of her workout attire for some reason. Mm-hmm. And they say, I don't know where.
Well, they're talking about, like, we need to call Giles. And as she's going back to the library, the phone rings and Buffy picks it up. And she's like, Giles? And it's Buffy's mom. Mm-hmm. And Buffy's mom, I forget what Buffy's mom.
Mom's like, oh, can we meet up to talk? I thought we could have a college talk tonight.
Yeah, she's like, I've been thinking about it. You don't need to go to the East Coast for school. Like, there's a bunch of great colleges out here. Like, how was that not your first thought, Joyce? But she's like, yeah, there's a bunch of great colleges out here on the West Coast that you could go to. And then Buffy hears Spike show up in the background at her house. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, hello, love.
She's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Buffy's like, oh shit, Spike's back. Slams the phone down and starts sprinting home. Yeah. And then this scene was one of my favorites in the entire show so far.
Yeah, I just love when the two of them are together. They have such a interesting, like...
So,
yeah.
Joyce and Spike... Joyce is making Spike some tea, and Spike...
No, not tea.
Oh, what are they?
She's making him hot cocoa.
Oh, okay. And Spike is crying and relaying word for word the exact same story that he told to Willow about, like, and she just left me. I can't believe she just left me. And I caught her making out with a chaos demon in Brazil. Have you ever seen a chaos demon? They're disgusting. And that was such a nice touch, because when you are going through some shit like that and you're talking to all your friends and anyone that'll listen about how heartbroken you are, you do say the exact same story with the exact same words. And I was like, this is hilarious. And Joyce is like, oh, Spike, it sounds like she was a little unhinged to begin with, so maybe you're better off without her. Yeah, he's like, no, I'm not better off without her.
It's like the perfect, like, she's the shoulder to lean on, and Joyce is just like not freaked out. She's just like, oh, this is just this guy. He's just our buddy.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I remember this guy from the last time we teamed up vaguely.
Yeah.
And then she's like, she tries to relate to him. She's like, I mean, sometimes people change. Like, when I went through my divorce with Buffy's father, like, it was wild. I would have never expected it. And Spike's like, no, it's not the same. You can't relate. Our love was literally eternal. She's like, you'll never get it. And then Joyce is like, okay, I mean, damn.
And and then this is when he asked for like some of those little white
you got those little marshmallows to put in the hot cocoa. She's like, yeah, I think I got those.
Because at first I thought it was tea, but then they had the hot cocoa in front, and then he asked for the marshmallows. And I was like, him asking for marshmallows is just so perfect.
It was great.
And I didn't know vampires could eat real food.
I think isn't it in, what is it?
What We Do in the Shadows, they definitely
What We Do in the Shadows, they can't eat.
They definitely can't. But I don't know if we've ever seen a vampire just sit and eat something in the show.
Oh, wait. In the anime, here I'm going to reveal my nerddom here. In the anime Tokyo Ghoul, people become vampires and they can't eat human food. It makes them sick. They think it's disgusting. The only thing that they can enjoy that is human is coffee. So maybe cocoa is some kind.
But I feel like marshmallow gets to a point where it's
that's a little on the fence.
It's on the fence. Yeah, it's not really a food, or I don't know what a marshmallow is, but
I guess it's a garnish.
You got to chew it a little bit. So.
That's true. But while all this is happening, Angel shows up because he wanted to go talk to Buffy, and he sees Spike, commiserating with Joyce, and he's like, "What? Spike's back!" And he starts to run up to the door, and he can't come in.
Yeah.
Because he was uninvited. And then Joyce sees Angel and she's like, what the fuck? You're back? Oh my God, you tried to kill me. You tried to kill Buffy. You tried to kill all of our friends. What the hell are you doing here? And he's like, you can't trust that guy. You can't trust Spike. You need to let me in. And Spike's like, oh, right. I forgot. You're not invited. He starts taunting him. It's like making faces behind Joyce's back and shit.
He's like, oh, I'm going to bite her. Like, it's so funny.
Angel's like, you can't trust him. And he's behind her. And he's like, am I going to bite her?
It is great.
It's fucking gold, dude.
I did not know I would love Joyce and Spike's relationship this much. Like, I could see if the transition happened, it's going to be like Joyce being like, I kind of like the Spike guy better. My mom likes him better than you, Angel.
Yeah. Mom, Spike is literally a murderer. He killed her. He's like, and Angel wasn't? I seem to remember Angel feasting on me for a little bit.
She doesn't remember that. She has no idea what happened. She thinks she fell on a 2-pronged fork.
That's true. A fondue fork.
Yeah.
But Joyce is yelling at Angel. She's like, you need to leave. You need to leave. And then Angel is looking at Spike. He's like, I'm going to fucking get you, dude, the second you step out of here. And Spike's like, yo, yeah, you in what army? And then Buffy shows up from behind and clubs him in the back of the head. And she's like, I'm the army. Holds him over the kitchen island or whatever. And she's like, what do you want? What are you doing here? What are you doing? He's like, I just want to have a love spell. I want to get Drusilla back because your fucking boyfriend cucked me into making her crazy and she loves him and she doesn't respect me anymore. And I just want a love spell. All right. That's all I'm here for.
These people, man. These people and their love spells.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, well, where's Xander and Willow? And if you don't tell me, I'll kill you right now. And he's like, if you kill me, you're never going to find them. Yeah. I just want them to have a love spell and then I'll let them go.
And there's a big moment where she invites in Angel.
Yeah. And then I also love Spike had this line about he's talking to Angel. He goes, when did you become all soul having again? I thought you grew out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spike's like, I won't hurt Xander and Willow as long as she does the spell. All right. And if you guys want to fucking follow me and make sure that I'm not up to anything crazy, you can tag along. And he starts walking away and they're like, I guess we got to tag along with fucking Spike then. Mm-hmm. So now we have Oz and Cordelia driving around. They're meant to go meet up with Giles in the woods or wherever he's camping. So they're driving to the woods and Oz all of a sudden slams on the brakes. And he's like, Willow's close. I can smell her. And then Cordelia's like, wait a second, what? You can, is this like residual werewolf stuff? And he's like, I mean, I guess so. I guess. But I can smell her. She's close by. And then so he starts to drive over to where he thinks that he smells her. And I was like, this is fun.
How, if werewolves can smell people from a car in a basement or something, how is he not able to find, like, how in that werewolf episode was he not able to, like, find people in the woods and stuff? It's like, that smell sense was so strong.
I know. It was insane.
And it's not even the weirdest thing that happens in the scene. The weirdest thing that happens in the scene is at the beginning when Cordelia says, oh, do you think Colombian drug lords took him?
Yeah.
At what point has there ever been Colombian drug lords in Sunnydale?
Yeah. Like, what's more likely? Colombian drug lords taking Xander and Willow, or literally anything else that could be attributed to the hellmouth that you're living. You've seen the most insane shit happening. You're in the car with a werewolf.
Yeah.
And you're like, let me base this in reality here for a hot second. Colombian drug lords are in Sunnydale and they took my boyfriend. Why? For what purpose?
I heard that there was a car that drove up from Brazil. Like, what is the connection? Why would she ever think it was like, it's such a random line.
I mean, it was so silly, but that's Cordelia for you.
Yeah.
She got a fucking 1500 or whatever on the SAT.
Yeah.
So Spike, Buffy, and Angel are walking around the city now, and Buffy has this great line about like, well, where are we even going? Like, where did you take them? And Spike's like, yeah, I'll tell you when we get all the ingredients for all this stuff. And then Buffy looks at Angel, and she's like, I bet he probably has them locked up in a factory or some bullshit. And Spike's like, I'm a bit more imaginative than that. And he looks over and he's like ashamed. He's like, fuck.
Yeah. And again, I was like, yeah, finally. Like, this show's been going on for a while. Like, yeah. They always just are in some warehouse. You can just find them. The fact that Oz is able to figure out where they are.
Yeah, right? So anyway, they're walking and they walk by this park bench and Spike sees it and he gets all reminiscent. He's like, oh, me and Drew killed the homeless here. He begged for mercy and we didn't give it to him and he just feasted on him. Oh, I miss her so much. And Angel and Buffy are looking at him like, Jesus, guy.
Yeah.
They're so unamused.
Mm-hmm.
But they go to the spell store to get the supplies that they need. And Angel's looking for something. He's like, all right, this is the list of stuff that we need. Spike gives it to him. And Angel's looking around. He's like, man, you know what? This is a lot of trouble for somebody that doesn't even really give a shit about you, you know? And Spike's like, hey, man, watch your mouth when you're talking about my girl. And Angel's like, I mean, I gotta tell you, man, I mean, she's real fickle. That's all I gotta say.
I like this Angel. Angel's like prime when he's just like shitting on Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Spike takes big exception to this. Mm-hmm. He runs over to Angel's like, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Such a dated reference at this point. But he just punches Angel and it's getting into a little tussle. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, you know what? This is all your fault anyway, you piece of shit. She would have never left me if it wasn't for you becoming Angelus and being all cooler than me. We got a good thing going. and
they don't have you doing an accent.
Yeah, right. And he blames Buffy too. He's like, it's your fault too, because I wouldn't have ever had to make a deal with you to save Drew if it wasn't for all of this. So it's your fault too. And then Buffy is like, you know what, Spike, you're such a loser. I can't believe I ever feared you. I can't believe you ever were like a threat to any of us because you're pathetic, dude. And he's like, oh, I'm a loser, huh? Well, you two are very obviously still in love. And they're like, what? No, we're not. We're just friends. We're just friends. And Spike's like, ghetto. Dude, are you serious? Look at you. You're never going to be friends. He's like, you're so stupid.
He's got, I wrote this line down because it's great. He goes, I may be love's bitch, but at least I'm man enough to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, yep. That's the line. That's the crux of the whole episode.
Yep. So then we get Willow in the abandoned basement that she's locked in with Xander. She's trying to escape. She's yanking on this door and she can't get it to budge at all. Mm-hmm. And Xander wakes up from his little knocked out Giles moment.
He got hit, it seems, harder than Giles got hit, or at least exactly the same as Giles got hit by the Watcher last episode.
Yeah. Like Gwendolyn Post.
Yeah. And Giles was in a stretcher, like being carted off.
Well, I mean,
but I guess he's got a long history of head trauma that he's got.
Yeah. And he's much older than Xander, too.
Yeah.
But Xander's got a big old bloody, jacked up shit on his temple.
Yeah.
I mean, that's risky business.
There's not a lot in Xander's head, though, so it's a lot more cushioning. It's that Homer Simpson thing.
True. Very true. But Xander wakes up and he's confused. He's like, where are we? Did I remember getting into a fight with Spike? And Willow's like, yeah, you did. He's like, did I beat him? And Willow's like, you were very brave. And she's like, well, we're locked in a factory basement. Spike said that I need to cast a spell to make Drusilla love him again. And if I don't do it right, he's going to kill you. If I don't do it right again, he's going to kill me. And Xander's like, do we have another option? Do we have another thing? She's like, yeah, we could try and beat him up and probably die that way. And then Xander's like, do we have a third option? She's like, yeah, we're locked in this basement and he never comes back and we starve to death. And that's the best option.
Yeah, he's drunk and he just forgets about us and leaves us down here.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a way worse option. I would rather die the vampire way or something.
Fighting the vampire way?
Yeah, starving to death? That's awful.
Yeah, they'd figure a way out of there.
Yeah. So Willow's leaning in close and Xander's like, can we kiss? And Willow's like, I don't think that we should. I thought we agreed that we weren't going to do this and that was a fluke. And Xander's like, potential both of us dying loophole. And I was like, okay, fine. And then they start making out. They start necking. And then from behind, with no noise being made at all, no hint of an entrance, Cordelia and Oz show up and they see this happening. And Cordelia goes, oh, God. Willow gets off of Xander and they both go, oh, God. And then Cordelia freaks out and starts running away. Xander pops up. He's like, Cordy, wait. He starts running after her. Cordelia starts running up the stairs, falls through the stairs, and is impaled by a giant spike. Not the vampire, but like a metal rod that is sticking up from the ground.
A really random piece of rebar is sticking up. And it is through her body. It's
like right where they stab the vampires to turn them to dust. It's like in her stomach.
Yeah, it's like lower left lungish area. It's not good.
No, I mean, Xander sees her from above and he's like, oh my God, Cordelia, all right? Are you all right? And she goes, I fell. Which is a great like...
You're in shock.
You're out of it line. Yeah. And then it like kind of pans down from her face to show the metal rod that's jutting through her. And Xander's like, oh my God, fuck.
Now, at this point, the thoughts going through my head was, is someone going to have to turn her into a vampire to save her? And is this how she ends up on the Angel show?
True.
Because I don't know if she's like normal person on the Angel show, if she's a vampire. I know nothing. I just know she's in that show.
Yeah.
And I just know she fell and is stabbed through, and she is not a slayer.
Yeah. And I was like, stabbed. That's pretty intense.
So I wasn't really sure what was going to happen there. I also wanted to bring up that Oz's reaction when he sees it is classic Oz, where he's like, "Hey, we gotta go."
Yeah.
like you can tell that he's hurt by all of this.
Yeah, but he's also like, there's more important shit going down. We'll talk about this later, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to need my Pez dispenser back.
We'll talk about this when we get to the bronze after, okay? You know, the dingoes are playing. I can't really think about this.
How crazy is it that the staircase just gave way?
I mean, it looked like, right? It looked like it was like made of stone, too. Like, I didn't think that it was able to do that.
It was oddly something that didn't need to happen because it didn't add, like, it would be more dramatic to hear them all like talk about it, and her be pissed off, and it just kind of undercut all that. It's like, oh, she's injured now. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I mean, and then like Xander hops down. He's like, call an ambulance. We need to get out of here. How did Oz and Cordelia get in without making any noise at all?
Well, I mean, Buffy sneaks into her house, into the kitchen behind people without making noise. Like,
true.
It's no way her house doesn't like have the door doesn't make a sound. She could have climbed up through the upstairs window and then walked down the quietest staircase ever. Maybe, I don't know.
That's what I mean, if this staircase, if Cordelia burst through it, like it would at least make like a creak when Oz and Cordelia. But it looked like they came from some separate entrance.
I think they walked into the room. Like, you can come down the stairs and walk into the room.
Okay.
I knew right away when he was smelling that they were going to stumble onto them making out. I was like, this is the discovery scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy they discovered it. It's just weird that as soon as they discover it, she almost dies.
Right. Drama on top of drama.
Yeah.
That's putting a hat on a hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, then Xander's like, oh, we gotta I'll go help her or whatever. He jumps down there. Then we get Spike, Buffy, and Angel. They're like, all right, we got all the ingredients.
They look like they just went shop.
Yeah. We got all the ingredients. Where are they? And Spike's like, you know where they were. They're at the fucking abandoned warehouse.
Yeah.
So they start going.
I think he says that later. The thing I wanted to bring up is, how was Spike going to know if the spell worked?
Yeah, I don't know. Because
they don't even know.
I guess still in Brazil.
They don't know where she is.
That's true. I guess if she shows up within the next day or two.
From Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't take planes.
No, that's true.
And Sunnydale is not I don't know. She's just speed driving through a bunch of different countries.
Well, she doesn't have the car even. I mean, she could steal a car.
Yeah.
Whatever. But then a gang of vampires surround Spike, Angel, and Buffy and accost them. And the one guy that's like the leader of this gang of vampires is like, oh, look who it is. It's Spike, everybody. You should have never come back here. Last time I saw you, you were blah, 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 blah. And then Buffy and Angel are like, who is this guy? And Spike's like, this guy used to work for me. And they're like, we got a fucking problem with you. And then Buffy and Angel are like, oh, well, if you got a problem with him, we're free to go. So you have fun taking care of this yourself. And Spike's like, if you leave me, you're never going to figure out which abandoned warehouse Willow and Xander are at. And they're like, I guess this does concern us now again, too. So they're all, a giant Donnybrook breaks out.
Wow. Using those SAT vocabulary words, huh?
Oh, yeah, man. They get into quite a kerfuffle.
And this is, I love that we're on the same set that's like right outside of the pump.
Yep,
and
the espresso pump.
And which is right next to where Giles was on the cop car. Like they have that set and they just keep switching it around a little bit.
Exactly. It's like, I would have loved a little detail in the back, like a store with the window broken out still, boarded up. Maybe it is in there. I don't know. I just didn't know.
I don't think that store is there. I think they just like pretend that this is somewhere else.
Yeah. But they're all fighting. I have to say Buffy gets a pretty dope 2-in-1 kill where she takes like a mop, breaks it over her knee and like stabs 2 vampires at once with it. Pretty sweet. There'll probably be a Slay of the Week thing going on there, which you would know about if you were on our Discord. Sign up in the Discord. Little promo, little plug for the Discord. And then they run back into the spell store and they're like barricade themselves in there. And they're like, we got to figure something out. We got to regroup. We got to figure out how to do this. Mm-hmm. And the vampires are breaking in. They start fighting in the store. The head vampire goes up to Spike and they're like, oh, you went soft. You're soft. You're softer than baby food. And Spike's like, oh, really? And then
punch, kick, punch.
Starts slamming this dude's head on a table, and he's like, oh, soft as baby food, huh? And then Buffy's fighting. And then Angel's like got his back to a door that's made of paper. It looks like this door is flimsy as hell.
And he's just holding, like, he's like, it's not going to hold much longer.
Yeah.
And
then eventually it doesn't hold at all. And like he falls, the door falls on top of him. Like two vampires like walk over him to get to Buffy and start fighting and everything. And they look over at a certain point and there's a bunch of vials of holy water. And they're like, we know what to do. And then they start throwing holy water grenades.
Yeah, Spike kills the main guy.
Yeah.
And then they tell Spike to duck. And they start throwing holy water bombs at people coming in through a different window.
Yeah, they had it like barricaded off. And then
but where are the people that ran in through the door?
I have no clue. I guess that was the back door that Spike came in through earlier. I think it was. Yeah, that is the back door.
But aren't they throwing it at people coming in from a different door?
The front door, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying the people that came in from the back door, what happened to them?
I guess they all got killed by Buffy and Spike.
I don't know. Whatever. It's over. It's a big fight scene. You got to watch it to really understand it. We can't do it full justice. TV's a visual and audio medium.
But one thing that happens is like Angel is slow to get up after getting knocked down by the door, and Buffy's like, you're still not at full strength. You're not at fighting strength. He's like, don't worry about me, babe.
Yeah.
I'm tough. I'm the rootinest, tootinest cowboy this side of the Mississippi. And she's like, okay, you need to sit this one out, though. So after they kill all of these vampires and they retreat, Buffy's like, well, great. We lost all the ingredients to the stuff. We need to re-get all the ingredients. And Spike's like, you know what? That was a lot of fun. I don't even think I need that anymore. I feel fucking great.
Yeah.
Who knew all I needed was a little dose of violence to make me feel like back to normal? This is fucking awesome. Yeah. And they're like, well, don't you care about Drusilla? And he's like, I'm gonna win her back the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna fucking torture her until she likes me. And he just like merrily skips off. That's fucking awesome.
Well, he's like walking away. And then he goes like, oh yeah. And they were in that abandoned warehouse that I was from. Like that's when he says it, right?
That's true, leaving.
Yeah, I'm going to tie her up and torture her until she likes me again. That's what she'd always want.
Yep.
And I was just like, man, what is the lesson here? What is the message?
I mean, he was so gleeful when he's like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
See ya. Just kind of
And here's the thing. After he tells you, Buffy, go chase him down and kill him.
Yeah, kill him.
Like, stop letting him walk away.
I know. I don't get it.
You got the information you need. And you're like, hey, Spike. Water bomb.
Like, I mean, she could have killed him at the end of last season. Like, I remember specifically, we were talking about how, like, he made a deal with Buffy to save Drusilla. And he's like, if you do this, I'll get out of your hair and we'll leave. Mm-hmm. But you, like, I'll help you kill Angel, but I want to leave with Drusilla. And we were both like, why wouldn't you just double cross Spike? Like, why would you care about like the honor and promise of what you said to Spike? He's a fucking murdering vampire. And she does the same thing here. Like, just kill the dude already.
You know what I just realized? Why does Spike go to hang out with Joyce?
I have no idea.
Because he needs to get stuff from the witchcraft place. But for some reason he goes to get Buffy, but Buffy doesn't know witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, I'm blanking on why he did do that.
It doesn't make any sense. He just shows up there. It's a great scene.
Yeah.
But is he going there just to hang out with Buffy?
Maybe it's something that Willow had left at Buffy's place, maybe?
They don't get anything. I mean, they try to imply that he needs Buffy's help.
Yeah, but when they cut to
her boobs, and jump rope. Yeah. But yeah, he just needs... he could have just gone back to the shop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did he go?
I don't know.
It was
I just
a
thought
fun
about it.
scene. I
It's
guess
a
they
fun
just wanted to
scene.
revisit that lovely relationship.
And get the three together, but like I don't know why.
Yeah.
They could have just met up at the witchcraft shop. Like Buffy would have been like, "Oh, she's studying witchcraft. I'll go and find out what was going on. Find a dead body. Find Spike there rummaging."
But also at the end of this scene here with where Spike's leaving, Buffy's holding Angel up, and Spike kind of looks at him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are just friends, sure, yeah, whatever, idiots."
Yeah.
And he walks out. So Xander is now like with Cordelia as she's like,
You're skipping.
I am.
Yeah.
I thought that he was like with Cordelia and she's like,
the fake out that we were talking about.
Hold on. No. I'm not skipping because Xander's with Cordelia and she says, "I can't see you."
Oh, okay.
I can't see you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then,
They're still in the basement. Yeah.
In the basement. And Xander's like, Cordy? And he's like slapping her face. He's like, "Stay with me. You got to stay with me." And then this bullshit fucking fake out scene. They fade to black on that Cordelia and Xander scene. And then they fade back up. And they're in the graveyard. And there is a lingering shot on this group of people surrounding. It's a funeral.
Yeah.
And they're lowering the casket into the grave. And you're like, oh my God, did they just kill off Cordelia? And it's a slow pan down to Buffy and Willow. And you hear Buffy say, "Oh, so Cordelia's going to be fine, right?" And then Willow's like, "Yeah, they missed all the vital organs." I was like, you sons of bitches. This is so bad, dude.
I like this fake out. I think it's done really well. Because there's no way that she should have survived that. Really.
No.
I'm okay with this fake out. And especially watching this on TV in the 90s, I think would really land.
I think in a different show it would have worked. But this isn't, like, especially this episode, there is a lot of drama going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is
I don't think it's needed. I don't think
moment.
this is needed. I don't think this is needed.
Yeah.
I don't think her even getting stabbed and having to go to the hospital was needed.
Yeah.
The whole thing. But I'm okay. I think the fake out was executed well. Because I really was thinking when I was watching, I was like, did they really kill her? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird. It was like one of those ones. And then you realize, I don't like Willow's line of, it missed all her vital organs. I'm like, wow, where are her organs at then? Because
my note for this scene, it literally says, "Graveyard fake out." And then in all caps, "Fuck you."
I thought it was fine. I just don't understand. I don't know why they think they needed it.
Yeah. But then Buffy is asking Willow, like, "So, how do you think Oz is going to take it?" And Willow has this whole meandering thing about, like, "I don't know. Oz, he's going to need some time, but I just realized that I wanted everything and I can't have everything. And Oz was one of the things that I wanted. And then I didn't have it. And then I had with Xander and I just don't know what I want. And Oz will get over it. And I'll have to start groveling to win Oz back." And I was like,
is that what she said? She wants to win Oz back?
I think that she did say that.
At this point, just go with Xander.
Right? You already blew it up.
Yeah,
Be
and
with Xander.
Xander's been your long time, you know?
She wants to be Polly. She wants to be in that Polly life, man. With Xander and Oz.
Well, I guess Buffy took this to heart, hearing like you can't have it all.
Yeah. Because Buffy nods and she's like, "All right, I know what I need to do." But before we get to what Buffy needs to do, we get Cordelia in the hospital and she is just not having a good time. She's laying in a bed. She's turned away from the door and she's looking very sad.
Parents aren't there. Parents didn't show up or nothing.
Xander shows up, though, and he's got this gigantic cornucopia of fucking flowers. He's like, "Cordy, can I come in? They said that I couldn't see you until literally this minute. And now that I can see you, I'm here. I got your flowers. And I just want to say I'm sorry." And then Cordelia slowly turns her head to look at Xander. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Xander, stay away from me." And then slowly turns her head back. And then Xander's like, Okay. Gets up and leaves, and then Cordelia starts crying her little heartbroken eyes out.
It's a bad day for her, man. To see that and then get impaled.
Yeah, that's not only impaled, like she probably broke her leg too because she fell through the stairs, got impaled, and found out that her boyfriend's cheating on her with the dorkiest dork in school. Like, this is a big, big, big shot to her ego, dude.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel bad for Cordelia, which I thought would have been impossible.
Man, yeah. I don't know if she needed the added injury.
Yeah.
Like, if we let's just hypothetically, what if Oz had fell and got stabbed through?
He would have went, ow.
Yeah. Like, really, like, I mean, would that change anything? Like, I don't know. Like, it's really interesting why they did this. I don't know if it was I don't know what they're planning going forward, but this is interesting. Yeah.
It was very weird. I mean, they could have just had her break her leg. Like, that's a fall through the stairs. Like,
she didn't need to fall through the stairs. It doesn't heighten the infidelity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have rather have her be healthy and have her, like, have it out with Xander with a bunch of, like, really witty Cordelia-isms.
Yeah. You're nothing without me. You're a big fat fucking loser. She would just go in on him like she went in on Buffy when they were running for prom queen or whatever, homecoming queen.
Yeah.
But then Buffy shows up to Angel's abandoned mansion, and Angel's like, "Oh, I've been waiting for you. Oh, what a wild day, huh?" And Buffy's like, "Look, dude, we gotta fucking talk here. I'm leaving. I don't know if I'm going to go to college or whatever, but I'm not with you anymore. We're not friends. We've never been friends, and we never will be friends. And I can fool my friends. No, you can't. I can fool Giles. No, you can't. I can fool my mom. No, you can't. But for some reason, I can't fool myself. And for some reason, I can't fool Spike. He's nailed it."
Yeah. That was a great line.
Yeah.
There, yeah.
But she's like, I can't be friends with you, and you don't need my help anymore. You're strong enough to be on your own. So I'm leaving. And Xander's like, wait, we can still see.
Angel.
Oh, yeah. Angel is like, wait, there's got to be a way that we can still see each other. And then Buffy goes, yes, there is. Tell me that you don't love me. And then Angel's standing there like, and Buffy's like, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
And this is my Vance Fashion Corner moment. Why is Buffy dressed like a mom here?
She's dressed in her reconciliation gear, dude.
I know. She's like
got
wearing
reconciliation
slacks.
gear.
She's got slacks, a sweater, like a cardigan, and then she's got her purse. And it's like, I'm like, what is this?
It's terrible.
I don't understand.
I mean, it's the same shit that she did with Faith in the last episode. She's wearing all this like hip girl 90s shit when she's out slaying people. And then when she has to like eat crow and apologize or like break up with somebody, she wears like a Jackie O outfit. Yeah. It looks so weird.
I don't know. I was just looking at her like, you look like you're playing someone's mom in like a Lifetime movie.
And she does the thing too where she has a little tiny purse in front of her and she's holding those straps with two hands.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But yeah, then she walks away and Angel's left there and be like, oh, my heart is broken.
Yeah, stop dating this high schooler.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have been dating a high schooler before you were a vampire. Like, he was too old to be dating high schoolers before he got turned.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 200. I think he says he's 240, and then he was in hell for however long.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, he was already like 27 when he got turned, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what is he, 25 at youngest age turned?
Yeah.
So that's still too old.
Yeah. It's problematic, to say the least.
Yeah.
So then we get the saddest montage in Buffy history. We get Willow staring at her witch Pez dispenser, and she's like, oh, I miss Oz so much. We get Oz sitting on a pool table playing his guitar, and I thought that they were going to have him playing the song that was playing, and I was like, I'm so glad that they didn't do that.
It was so weird. They had him like almost like finish strumming something and then just sit there with it.
Staring off in the distance.
Yeah.
Xander's in the library, going into library jail to like do something. He's looking all sad.
Did you notice the book return sign is there? So you've returned books in library jail.
Yeah. But like the return wasn't, there's not a basket underneath of it.
Nothing. It just flops
onto the floor. Dude, nobody's checking out books at that fucking high school. No one ever goes in the library except for the gang.
You would just go to the front desk and hand them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get Cordelia looking mopey at the hospital. And then we get Buffy looking sad at school because she's losing Angel. She's thinking about her future finally. And then we cut to Spike driving out of town, drunk driving, scream singing. I forget what song it was. I Did It My Way. It's like a punk rock version of I Did It My Way.
Yeah.
And that's how the episode ends.
If Spike gets pulled over, does he just has to kill the cop and hope they don't have a partner, right?
Yeah, definitely.
He drives a car that we get pulled over every hour.
Even when he's sober, he drives like a madman.
The car has, if you saw that car driving, you'd be like, oh, the driver can't see out the windows.
Yeah.
I have to pull this over.
Yeah.
If you pull over a car for missing taillights, you pull it over when all the windows are bagged up. And you mean tell me he drove this all the way from, I don't know, through South America maybe?
Well, if they had him blow into a breathalyzer, he would pass because he doesn't have breath.
He doesn't have breath, but I think as soon as they rolled down the window, he burst into flames.
That's true. Doesn't he make a joke about how he doesn't have breath earlier in this episode?
Yeah.
Did he say something like, I'd hold my breath, but I don't have any or something?
It's like, yeah, don't hold. I think it's when he was like with Joyce and talking to Angel. Like, I don't even know why Angel showed up at Buffy's house at that moment. It was just a matter of convenience.
Maybe Angel has to discuss Buffy's college future.
Buffy had clearly said, my mom doesn't know you're alive.
Yeah.
So his move was to go to Buffy's house. Like, I have no idea. And I did have one question for you.
Okay.
Is Scott Hope ever coming back?
I don't think Scott Hope is ever coming back.
Yeah. I feel like Scott Hope, if he doesn't come back, even if he does, so useless.
Yeah, that guy stunk.
It was so unnecessary. Like, I thought that was going to be the season. I thought it was going to be a love triangle thing. She was going to be with him. Angel was going to come back. I thought it was going to be what we got with Willow and
Xander and Cordelia and Oz. Yeah. No, that would have been really interesting. I guess they were planning on doing that maybe. And then they were like, wait a minute, we can't have this entire show be like the background of everything be the vampire slaying.
Yeah. They were like, you do the vampire slaying, Buffy. Hang out with the cool actors that are Spike and Angel, and then we'll have this like teen drama romance with the other people. That'll work better.
I mean,
you can't do all of it.
I guess that is the crux of the show, though, is the teen drama. But
and I think this drama works better because at least it's with people we know and care about. Like the Scott Hope thing only works if Angel shows up.
Yeah. Maybe we could have grown to love Scott Hope like we did with Oz. Do we love Oz? I like Oz.
I like Oz. I'm not like sold on their relationship, Willow and Oz's relationship. I'm not like, oh, you got to be with Oz.
I don't have as strong opinions about Oz as I do about like Xander or Cordelia. Like I'll get heated thinking about them.
They're the OGs, yeah.
Oz doesn't really get me heated like they do.
Yeah. I mean, I think he has great lines and personality in there. I don't know what's that "yeah you do" creepiness was all about, but
that was wild. That was weird.
That was
yeah.
But
that is it for Lover's Walk. Thank you for listening, everybody. You can follow us on Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy. You want to write in boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Subscribe and rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that shit. We got a Discord. Links in the show notes. And stay tuned for our next episode when we talk about, this is a good one. Here, we're going to have some dope predictions for this. This episode that's coming up next is titled The Wish.
I don't know what this one... It's interesting they mentioned wishing in this one and doing a spell.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we were doing our season 2 recap, we were asking for questions from our Discord for the bonus episode of stuff that they wanted us to maybe talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think around the time when Xander did his whole love thing, someone had mentioned like, wait till you see the Wish episode.
I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
This is I have 2 predictions for this, and they're both completely different. Or they could be folded into each other.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a genie that appears in this next episode.
Mm-hmm.
I also think this episode is going to be kind of like Spider-Man No Way Home, where Willow and Xander are going to wish that Oz and Cordelia never found out about them cheating. They try to like reverse time or something.
I hope they don't do that, because they just had this whole episode, they just talked about like not using witchcraft for that purpose.
But now that the cat's out of the bag, they feel terrible about it.
They should be happy and be like, sure, now we can be together.
But Willow wants to be with Oz and Xander, it seems like. She's living her best Mormon life, bro.
What if Oz is just like, I'm down with it?
That'd be cool. Good
Cordelia
for them.
would not be.
Cordelia would not be down with that at all.
No, she'd be on the losing end of that deal.
Well, now I can't wait to watch this episode. If like people were like, "Oh, you just wait," maybe it'll be like.
No, I mean, I think Buffy is going to make a wish that's going to be really over the top, ridiculous. Like we thought what Xander did was stupid. I think Buffy's going to do something so dumb. That's what I gathered. I don't know exactly what she could wish for, though.
You know, maybe it'll be like, you watch Rick and Morty?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that episode with Mr. Meeseeks where, Chris Parnell, what's the guy's name? Jerry. Jerry makes like a very simple wish. He like wants to take 2 strokes off of his golf game, and then he can't do it, and just chaos ensues. It's going to be like one of those things where Buffy will make like a seemingly very simple wish, and then it's going to have all of these like domino effect falls, and shit's going to get so crazy. Watch this episode be so bad.
It would have been amazing if they did kill off Cordelia and the wish was to bring her back to life.
Oh.
But that didn't happen, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Now we're just rambling. Yeah,
I'm pretty stoked though. I'm excited. Now that I see the title of this, I'm like, oh, this has got to be a pretty good one.
I'm happy that Willow and Xander's thing is out in the open, so now we get some real drama.
Yeah. But that's it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for listening once again. And stay tuned next week for when we talk about The Wish.
Now that was fun.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.